So in this one, we're going to be talking about some 5 lesser known fears of narcissists that nobody talks about. And just with that in the title, something nobody talks about. Isn't that just a great description of a covert narcissist? Is that they're kind of like the man behind the curtain, the puppeteer pulling the strings, pushing things in certain directions to orchestrate whatever is ideal for them, whatever they want their end result to be. But of course, even at the end of the day, it's never fulfilling for them, and they always come back to you because, even as the master puppeteer, even as the man behind the curtain, whatever they develop, whatever they build, deep down they know that it isn't real. Deep down they know that if they didn't do the things that they did to you, if they didn't affect you in that way, if they didn't orchestrate everything, then things wouldn't have turned out the way that they wanted it to be. But yeah, that's what it's like with covert narcissists. It's always these things that nobody talks about. They can't talk about it. They're shy, introverted. They do things under the radar. It's all about suggestibility. Because practically nothing that they do is actually even real. It's all just based on improvisation, suggestion. It's all based on whatever they can get you to think in your mind. But yeah, let's get into these 5 fears. And these aren't just your typical fears of a narcissist that most people have already talked about already, such as, the typical ones such as rejection, abandonment, exposure. Of course, we've all heard these things so many times. So I'm sure many of you get bored of hearing the same fears of narcissists in every video. And that's why I thought in this one we go and talk about some lesser known fears. Ones that no one talks about. But before I get into it, here's the view for you. Petronas Towers and the KL Tower, the Musica 118, with the fountain there. These unusual looking flowers. How interesting is that? It's like something from another planet. River of life. ROL. There's a river of life for you. So we get 5 fears of narcissists. Lesser known fears that no one talks about. The first one is when you ignore them with calm, unexplained silence. Now this is different to the silent treatment. It's not just your standard silent treatment that I'm talking about. What I'm talking about here is when you just go silent for no apparent reason. You just stop giving them the attention that they need, that they crave. You just cut off the supply all of a sudden. Or they can't understand it. They don't know why. This is something they're terrified of. Because at least if they can be ahead of it, if they can know what's going to happen in advance, which is how they like it to be. They like to determine your behavior, direct the course of events. They want to be 10 steps ahead of you at all times, so that they've already got everything mapped out. And I know that this sounds crazy, but this is what narcissists are like, especially covert narcissists. They've already got the entire thing mapped out, the entire day, the entire week, your entire relationship with them from the very beginning. They already know how things are going to go. They already know how they want it to be. They've already got it all planned out. And so, of course, they're already ahead of things that may provoke you to go silent. Even when you're hurt and you go silent on them, they're already ready for that. They know what's going to happen if they manipulate you, abuse you. If they attack you, they know that, of course, you're going to turn away from that. You're going to go silent. And they like that because narcissists, especially sociopaths and psychopaths, they are seeking power and control. So they are already prepared for your reaction. And it makes them feel good because, especially these higher level narcissists, they're very insecure. They feel incompetent. So they want to make a plan of what they're going to do. And they just want to see it happen. They want to see it actualize. They want to know that if they push this button, this is going to happen. They're going to get this specific result. And that's what they do with you. They push your buttons. They know exactly how it's going to affect you. They know you're going to turn away. They know you're going to go inwards. They know you're going to fight, flight, freeze, fall. They already know your typical response. They know that it's going to hinder your awareness. They know it's going to close you off. And that makes them feel powerful and in control. What they are terrified of is when you do something outside of their control, something that they weren't prepared for, such as if they didn't even do anything, and you just go silent for no reason. That's going to confuse the narcissist. They never would have expected that to happen. They didn't plan for it, because they can only really plan for things that they are doing, things that they are already premeditating. So when you just go silent for no apparent reason, they are terrified of that because it's outside of their control. It makes them feel insecure. And they haven't got a way to pull you back in. They have no backup plan. So that's why it makes them so terrified. They don't know how to respond to that. So this isn't just your standard silent treatment. Typically, when you're using the silent treatment, it's in response to something the narcissist has done. So they're already prepared for that. They're already expecting it. Like I said, they've got everything mapped out of how they expect it to go, of how they've planned for it to go. So they expect you to continue along a certain path, a certain course, and not deviate from it. And they're always there on the sidelines. They're trying to push you in line into the direction that they want you to go. But if you still have control of yourself and over your consciousness, your awareness, and you just decide, no, instead of going left, I'm going to go right. I'm just going to turn right all of a sudden. I'm just going to go silent. Then they really lose control. They don't know how to react to that. It's something they're terrified of because, of course, they understand that the only reason why they're able to sustain their false image and sustain control over people, influence over people, they know that it's because they orchestrate everything, because they plan for it, because it's all fake. And that's why they need everything to be in line, the way that they want it to be, the way that they need it to be, in order for the illusion to continue. Which leads me to number 2. You calmly predicting their manipulative patterns. With their emotional manipulation, it's all about getting you in your feelings, getting you hurt, upset, confused, agitated, stressed, anxious, angry, fearful. And then they've got that control over you through manipulating your emotions. And that makes them feel more in control of themselves. It regulates their emotions. So you're kind of just like a tool, a toy that they use to make themselves feel better. They push a button and then they get a certain response out of you that they need. But if you can predict their manipulative patterns, if you can already see it coming, let's say it's like you've got a bird's eye view of what's going on. So you can see it coming from a mile away. You already know what's going on in their minds, what they're planning to do, what reaction they want from you. If you're already 10 steps ahead of it, and it's not surprising, it's not shocking to you, it loses its effect. With them, it's all about getting you in the moment. They have to orchestrate it. It has to be faked. But if you can see what's happening 5 minutes earlier, you've already got it. You already know what's coming next. So you are already prepared for it. You already know what they want from you. You already know what they're trying to do. It's not going to confuse you. So that's another thing they fear, because again, it's another threat to their control. Manipulation is one of their tactics. It's a weapon for them to keep you under control. So when they lose that power over you, they do become afraid. They don't know what to do, because then that gives you the power over them. It's all about subduing you, keeping you suppressed so that you don't use your natural God-given power against them, which will just happen naturally, just you being you. And this is what they do, because if they just encountered you all of a sudden, and they didn't plan for it, they didn't prepare for it, it would be very intimidating. Such as in an argument, in a conversation, they wouldn't know what to say, they wouldn't be prepared for it. So they've already got to know what's going to happen and what you're going to do, what you're going to say, so that they can have a pre-prepared script or narrative already, so that they already know how things are going to go, and that they can steer it in the direction they want it to, so that it works in their favor, so that they don't have to feel insecure, afraid, threatened. But if you're already ahead of that, it's just your natural power. You don't even have to manipulate anyone. Just you being you, they will have to submit to your authority, to your natural confidence, your natural being. And that's just it. That's what they're fighting against. That's why they manipulate. That's why they don't like things to be pure, organic, natural, untamed. They want things under control, so that things turn out in their favor of how they want it to go. And this is why it's such a threat, it's such a fear for them, when you already know what they're going to do next. You're already prepared for it. You already see it coming. You already know what they want from you, how they want you to feel, how they want you to respond. When you're already ahead of it, they lose the power. And this is why, especially covert narcissists, they're highly manipulative. They've got to be 10 steps ahead of everything. They've got to brainwash everyone. They've got to be in control of their entire environment. While as for us, we prefer it natural. We prefer things to be organic, because it works better that way. It's more in our favor. Things just naturally turn out the way that we want. But it's not that way for them. Reality is against them. Life is against them. And they're just trying to survive. That's why they have to orchestrate everything. They have to control it all. Because otherwise, naturally, just Mother Nature would wipe them out. So that's why they're so controlling. That's why they've got to control people's minds. They've got to influence you. They've got to get you to follow their lead, their direction. You can't think for yourself, because it's all just about themselves. It's all about their survival. It's all about what's going to make them feel better. So yeah, that's the second one that they really fear. The second thing they fear that no one talks about. Here's another view for you here. Oh, this reminds me of, I remember walking on one of these when I got off the boat. This was in the 100 Islands, Pangasinan, in the Philippines. That was such a beautiful day, that was. I remember getting off the boat and walking on this island with the giant Jesus statue. Oh, that was an incredible experience. And who knows, I may be doing that again very soon. Visiting another city, another island in the Philippines. I have some really good times there. So who knows, well, maybe I will be going back there. Now here's the third thing that narcissists fear that one talked about, is you forming strong bonds that they can't access or control. They want to have access, they want to infiltrate, they want to be all up in what you've got, in what you're doing, and what you're building. Because that's the whole point of why they target you, why they want to be around you, is because they see it as though what you have is better than what they have. And that's the whole point, otherwise they wouldn't care about you. This is why they want to have access, this is why they infiltrate with you. Even when they make it appear as though they have their own bonds. I mean, their bonds are very shallow, very superficial, it's transactional. And with us, it's more validational, it's more of a connection. It's more two-way, so it actually means something. And they do fear that, you know, your empathy, you sharing that with other people, you having real intimate interactions that they can't experience. They're very jealous about that. This is why they always try and control all these things about you. They try to diminish your empathy, your compassion, your feeling, because it's something they don't have. And anything they don't have, that's what they try to destroy, or at least try to take from you. And not only that, but they want to be your only source of influence so that they can brainwash you and get you to see other people in the world that the way that they want you to, in a way that favors them, in a way that makes them feel good, makes them feel attractive, desirable, intelligent, powerful. So they essentially want to brainwash you, distort your mind, and get you to see things the way that they want, rather than how you naturally would. Because the way that you naturally would be, it would be more of a source of power for you, rather than you giving your power away to them and giving them control over you. I mean, typically in a normal, genuine, healthy interaction, when you interact with someone, that gives you control over yourself. That just feeds more into your sense of self. It doesn't take away from that. But it does with narcissists, because they're trying to brainwash you. They're trying to leech off your energy, your qualities. That's what they're trying to take from you, because they have none of their own. So this is why they hate it when you form strong bonds that they can't control or access. It's because they can't experience anything strong themselves, and this is why they're so flimsy. This is why they're like chameleons, shapeshifters. They're doing one thing one minute, another thing the next. And they just switch back and forth all of the time. You don't even know who you're dealing with half the time. This is how that happens, because their bonds are very shallow, very superficial. It doesn't go deep. There's no real connection, as many of you may have experienced already. But they see that it's not like that with you. So this is why they're so controlling over these bonds that you're having, because they know if you bond with someone else, that's going to be real, that's going to be deep. It's going to be something they can't ever have with you. So naturally, of course, that's going to pull you away from them because they can't connect with anyone on a deeper level. So of course, anything that you have outside of them is going to take you away from them. The fourth thing that narcissists fear is being treated like they're average or forgettable. Narcissists have a massive ego. They have this huge inflated sense of self-importance. At any moment, they have to believe that they are just 100% perfect, flawless, like there's nothing wrong with them. That's how they have to feel. So they definitely do not want to be treated like they're average people, like they're just anyone. They want to be seen as special. They want to be seen as something incredible. And this is why, many of them do splash out to be seen that way. This is why you see many grandiose narcissists. They spend a ton of money on designer clothes, expensive cars. I'm just trying to get out of this. Suddenly, a lot of people coming near me. So just one moment. Yeah, this is why they spend so much money on all of these things, to try and impress people and make them see them as something different than the ordinary. And it's kind of ironic when you think about it, because they want to be seen as special, different, unusual, when really they're all the same. It doesn't matter what country they're from. It doesn't matter how old they are. They're all the same, whatever part of the world you're from, no matter what ages. They all act exactly the same way. And when you get to know them, when you spend time with them, when you live with them, it's like we all dated the same person. And there's really no different, new, or unusual experience. I mean, at this point, it's gone to the point where when I do my coaching sessions and I speak to my clients, no one ever really tells me anything that I haven't heard or experienced for myself before. It's always the same thing. And yet in their minds, they all think they're so special. When if anyone is exactly the same, it's all of them. They're all identical, practically. They all do exactly the same thing. They all follow trends. And yet they all think that they're so special and unique. But yeah, clearly it's something they're insecure about. And it would be because they copy people, they mimic them, they steal. So of course they're going to be insecure about being treated as ordinary or forgettable. I've already reached the end of the park here. So let me just back in. Just to finish this off. The fifth thing, narcissist fear that no one talks about, is you owning your flaws so they can't weaponize them. Because like with anything, they have no power of their own. They have to steal from you and then use that to intimidate you. But they have to take it from you first. They have to take what belongs to you and then turn it against you. And it's exactly what they do with your flaws. They take your flaws from you. They take your insecurities and then they reflect them back to you. And they're able to do that because you don't own them. And this is what we got to start doing. When they try to trigger us, when they reflect these things to us, we got to be like, no, I own this one. This is mine. Because that's what they're doing, is they are taking it away from you, and they are then used it as a source of power against you. So you've got to see it as, no, yes, I already understand, I already accept, this is mine. these do belong to me. That's how you've got to see it. And when you accept your ownership, when you accept that, yes, you are the leader in your life, this is all yours. They can't use it against you anymore. Because the whole game with them is being in opposition, being resistant. But if you own it, if you already agree with it, they can't pressure you with it. If you already accept it from the beginning. So it can be a very powerful tool for you. But yes, it is something that they fear. Not sure if you can see that, but got some fish swimming underneath the water. Tropical fish. You know, that's one thing I haven't done for a while. Is swim with a fish underwater. I hope that I can do that soon. The sky's looking quite dull today. Thunder. But it's still beautiful in its own way. You got the trees, the lake, the fountain. You know, it's just what I enjoy. But saying that, from my experience, I can see it's what a lot of people are missing. What a lot of people want is just their own company. So many people, you know, they're in toxic relationships, marriages, and they just want to go and take some time out for themselves. And it is true, you know, nothing can compare with that. Even if you do have an amazing relationship, marriage, children, it can't compare with you just going and just walking on your own somewhere in a forest, out in nature. Nothing can ever just take away the significance of that. It's always going to be something that you need. It's always going to be something that will replenish you. And that's just how it is. But yeah, this is what I do. You know, I just go around exploring different places and just enjoy my own time, my own company. Without Nala. Although, I wouldn't mind, you know, if I could bring Nala out, take her for a walk in a park. That would be nice. But it's not really practical, of course. She would run away. She'd come back a few hours later. But it's just difficult to control her. But being away, you know, being outside of the condo and just being out here, it makes me miss her. It makes me appreciate her company. And it makes me look forward to seeing her again. But yeah, those are the 5 things that narcissists fear that no one talks about. Some different things to what you typically hear. But yeah, let me know what you think. Have you got any questions? Would you like me to expand on anything that I've said to you? '78 live viewers, give it a thumbs up if this has been good for you so far. Believe it says WTF. I swear that's the machine they've been using to make noise. Honestly, wherever I go, there's always noise. I mean, I could hike into a forest, hike up a mountain. There'll be someone running up there, sweating behind me. I can rarely ever find any time to myself, no matter where I go in the world. But I do accept, you know, I understand that I do have very high vibrational energy. I understand that my energy attracts people, but it also overpowers them as well in many ways. Right in. Get wet. Oh. Here it is. A lake in Malaysia. Rain's getting a bit heavier now. I'm hearing some thunder. So I'm going to go and find some shelter. But thank you for joining me on this walk around the lake. I started over on that end, walked all the way down and around. I made it here. So I hope this information was good for you. Hit the thumbs up button if it was. If you are new here, subscribe. Click on notifications so that you will be notified when I go live again. Let me know your thoughts about this. Any questions in the comment section. I read your comments every day. Let's start a discussion. And if you would like guidance and support your healing journey, you can book a one-on-one with me by going to narcsurvivor.com. Your donations are greatly appreciated, no matter how small. Donate by going to paypal.me/narcsurvivor. Also, you can follow me on my Instagram at Narc Survivor YouTube. Thank you all for joining me on another Narc Survivor live video. And I will talk to you in another one very soon.